neo-Nazis were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs.
The conservative group Turning Point USA has condemned the group of neo-Nazis.
You let them in and you knew what they were. Right. So you are complicit. My point was more metaphorical, that you embraced them at your thing, I felt. So they were not in the building.
We want to make clear that these demonstrators were gathered outside the event and that they were not invited or endorsed by Turning Point USA.
ABC's talk show The View issuing multiple clarifications this week after repeatedly falsely associating the conservative group Turning Point USA with neo-Nazis protesting outside a Turning Point event. For more insight on that story and others in tonight's lightning round, let's turn to KTTH Seattle talk radio host Jason Rantz, who was at that Turning Point event. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening.
So first, let's start with the ladies of The View trying to clean up on aisle 3. Go.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know what they're talking about. I was actually there and I witnessed everything that occurred, and I can tell you every single person who was associated with Turning Point, whether it's a staff member or whether it was an attendee, condemned the white nationalists or Nazis, if in fact that's what they were. There was a lot of questions as to whether or not this was legitimate or if it was intended to do what The View just did, which was forward this narrative that the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists were somehow associated with the event. At the end of the day, no matter what, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that they were clearly condemned multiple times, and Student Action Summit had nothing to do with it. Shame on The View, shame on Whoopi, metaphorically. You were literally telling us that they went into the convention and was a part of it and embraced. Clearly false, and when you have to correct yourself multiple times under the threat of a lawsuit, yeah, it's a you problem.
To abortion, your headline, let's put it on the screen. Rantz, foolish Seattle council wants women seeking abortions to be a protected class. Explain.
Yeah, the city council in Seattle is changing the law, is about to add women who either are going to get an abortion or have received an abortion to the protected class list. So obviously protected from discrimination on the basis of race or gender, religion. Now we're going to add whether or not you've had an abortion. And part of the reason why they're doing that is in Seattle and in King County as a whole, we are paying women to come to the county to get abortions. We're putting them in hotels. We're giving them food at restaurants. And the concern, as contrived as it is that those businesses might discriminate against these women. So they're trying to proactively get in front of it. It's ridiculous because I'm not aware of any hotel that looks down upon check-in at your ID. Oh, you're from Ohio. Are you, as a pregnant woman, coming here to get an abortion? That obviously doesn't occur. It is contrived completely, and it's just performance art at this point. They're just activists who are desperate for relevancy, since in Washington state, frankly, it's easier to get an abortion than a cup of coffee.
To guns in Seattle, King County approves a voluntary gun drop-off program. What about that?
Oh, I love this. This is my favorite thing. The King County Council had a big celebration yesterday about passing this bill for a permanent year-round gun buyback or return program. The thing is, it already exists in King County. Right now, if you have a gun that you want to get rid of, you can turn it into the King County Sheriff's Office or frankly any law enforcement agency. And it's not just in King County, it's across the state. This is already a program that's being utilized. The other issue is gun buyback programs, generally speaking, don't work. I talked to a number of sheriffs just over the last 24 hours, including the former sheriff in King County, who tells me the vast majority of the guns that get returned are broken. They are old. They are antiques. They're of no value whatsoever to the concern that it could lead to gun violence or is the cause of gun violence. We have a gun violence problem because of gang members and other criminals, not because of the average person who, by the way, is defending themselves with that gun you want them to give up.
Okay, and briefly to crime, you've got some sheriffs there taking aim at some state legislators for crime surging and fewer cops to take care of it.
Yeah, across the state, we have a huge staffing crisis in law enforcement agencies. Cops have left. They don't want to be a part of policing in a state that doesn't allow them to police. We've had a number of bills that were passed 2 legislative sessions ago that go after use of force, that ban vehicular pursuits. And as a result, criminals have become emboldened. They've been committing way more crimes. Cops can't do anything, but if they make one small mistake, in an effort to catch a bad guy, well, not only they could lose their jobs, but they can go to jail. So they're just saying, yeah, we're not going to do this. And all of the law enforcement agencies, for the most part, have been sounding the alarms for a very long time.
Jason Rantz, thanks so much. We got to run.
Thanks, Mike.